To us, a champion is not just the singular winner. A champion is someone who is taking action in the world. Women have such a natural connection to the ecology. If service is taking action to create value for someone, uplifting service is taking the next action.
Gender balance is gender intelligence. I'm delighted to hear that. Ron Kaufman, I am just delighted to have you come and address the Champion Woman community, because you've been, without even knowing it, an inspiration to me over a decade.
It's such a privilege to be here. I'm based in Singapore. I've visited India more than 100 times over the last 34 years that I've been based in Asia Pacific. And I was just there, as you said, doing a master class on transforming customer experience strategy in Mumbai, sponsored by the Economic Times. But that isn't all I was doing there. I gave a couple of other speeches to different organizations and had one of the most extraordinary, heartfelt, inspirational, spiritually uplifting experiences of my entire professional career. I'm just a beginner in terms of ever really understanding the incredible depth of your country and history and cultural depth, but I'm an active learner and I really admire who you people are.
Yes. So, Ron, it was just such a lovely learning for me to look at your website and realize that you do work for women too. You do work for the all humanity, frankly. You care about having everybody care more, serve better, and create excellence. How can we create a whole generation of women who are confident, calm, and powerhouses in the workforce?
Confident, calm, creative,
Yes.
communicative, collaborative. And it's not only to uplift ourselves or our companies or our customers or our families, but women are the heart and soul of communities. Women have such a natural connection to the ecology in which all of us live, where our food comes from, the cleanliness of our air. So we, all of us, not just humanity, but all living species, we need women at their peak of self-confidence and care and contribution to each other.
Right. So, but here's my first question. So
Sure.
there are leadership gaps, right? We emphasize uplifting for leadership and for women. You do it very well for overall customer care and leadership. But we say to women, how are you going to lift yourself up? But there are gaps that women face. And so how can we, as an organization, how can we guide organizations to create this empowering culture for women?
So let me tell you what we've done with our work worldwide. To us, a champion is not just the singular winner. It's not the one that has the highest rank or score. A champion is someone who is taking action in the world that is taking good care of other people. Now, in the world of business, that's called creating value. So if you take action to create value for someone else and they're a customer, they're going to pay for it. If you take action to create value for a colleague inside of an organization, they're going to appreciate it, and that's going to boost your reputation. And that's kind of the pathway to leadership. So I think what's important is to recognize that a champion is somebody who looks at a situation. You look at someone, whether it's a customer, a colleague, a community, a company, an industry, a government, a city, and you think to yourself, what is the action that I could take that would create value for someone else? Who is that other person that I'm serving? That's what we call service. And then, of course, you're not doing that and counting, what am I going to get back? You will get back. We know that. Life comes around, life goes around. We're all connected to each other. So the champion is the person who looks at a situation, not selfishly, who says, what can I get out of it? Not complainingly, this isn't fair. It's the woman or whomever it is who says, I see the situation, I see what's needed, I see what's wanted, what would be valued, what would contribute to the well-being of those people, and then I go creative. What action can I take? What's the next action that I could take? How could I engage other people in helping me to take that action to create more value for the people we serve? That is an uplifting champion. And if she's a woman, then it's an uplifting champion woman.
Thank you, Ron. So, Ron, I mean, I'm just saying, is there one thing that an organization could do to empower their women? Is there an experience you might share or a story?
Well, as I said earlier, I think that women have just a natural talent, instinct, orientation to this phenomenon of human life and the
Mhm.
way in which our entire life involves and requires the continuous upbringing and improving of people. And so, a company, especially in this era, we're doing this interview in 2025, where all over the world, we're at that moment in history where people realize, wait a minute, we've got technology that can take us to the moon, but have we really figured out how to take care of the ecology of where we live?
Right.
We've got the ability to communicate with each other on our little devices and see everything all over the world. But have we yet generated this shared sense of concern, compassion, contribution to the well being of one another? I think the companies and the cities and the families and communities that are going to thrive are the ones that recognize there's a much larger context, not just emerging today, it is here. You
Mhm.
ask the young people, where do you want to work? They don't want to work somewhere where it's just about making more money. They
Mhm.
want to work somewhere and feel like their life is contributing to the well being now and into the future. Women get that. Men have been raised in a more competitive narrative. Who's on top? Who's got more? Da, da, da. Now is the time for us to learn how to work together. So then, if you're a CEO or you report to a CEO or you're a government leader or you're an industry president, you should be taking responsibility for bringing this narrative up to a higher shared level in the context of history so that the culture you're building addresses this issue of us flourishing together, not just increasing our top line, increasing our bottom line, increasing our market share, increasing our shareholder value. I'm not saying those are wrong metrics, but on their own, without the larger context of well being in which we actually live, then they can end up literally taking us off the tracks.
Mhm.
We need champion women now to be fully empowered and encouraged to participate to your best possible efforts and results.
Lovely, Ron. What you're saying is gender balance is gender intelligence. I'm delighted to hear that from you. So, this word empathy, I'm constantly hearing nowadays, it's becoming even a buzzword, empathetic leadership. But there's something soft about empathy that people are thinking, oh, it's just a soft skill. We'll get to that. How can we make that the driving force of our culture?
So, if we look at the word empathy, I think empathy, in order to be empathetic, it's got to first start with a sense of curiosity. In other words, I can't be empathetic towards you unless I'm interested in you, unless I'm willing to put aside me and my objectives and what I want to actually open up, listen, perhaps ask, and be open to hearing and feeling what it is that the other person is experiencing. And then if I detect a sense of suffering that's there, or confusion of some sort, or some struggle that's going on,
Mhm.
recognize that's another human being over there who's having that experience. And then it doesn't mean that I'm going to say to that person, you shouldn't be thinking that way. That's not empathetic. It doesn't mean that I say, oh, I'm going to start feeling like you. That's more sympathetic. What empathy really is saying, you know what? I hear you. I
Mhm.
get it. And while I may not sympathetically take on feeling the same thing, to be able to say to the other person, I'm genuinely sorry that you're having that experience. I care. I care. If you want to talk about what would help move this along, what could reduce the suffering, what could help you see this from another point of view, what next action might be appropriate, there may just need to be some time that goes by. If I'm in a
Mhm.
leadership position, how I respond empathetically would have to start with me caring about you curiously enough to listen,
Mhm.
to feel, and then to be open to having a dialogue with somebody who's in
Mhm.
that state so that together you can come to a place of, what is the next thing? How can I support you further? Who else should I refer you to? And that's the role of an empathetic leader.
Wonderful. So in the age of artificial intelligence and machine learning, you're talking almost about a mindful learning and an actual intelligence of connecting human being to human being. Lovely, Ron.
Well,
Thank
we
you.
can say mindful, but I think we also need to include heartful.
Heartful. Okay.
Heartful.
Wonderful. Really wonderful. So you're always giving us tips on excellence. And I know that excellence, it's not just a skill, right, Ron? It's more like a mindset. So what might be 3 principles to develop a regular mindset towards excellence?
I think we need to take a step back
Okay.
and address this issue that people, especially leaders, large organizations, human resource departments, organization development departments, they say, we want a mindset of, for example, outstanding, uplifting service excellence. We want people to have this orientation. They use terms like customer obsessed, right? And then they say really absurd things like, we want to inculcate this into the DNA of our staff, as if you could go somewhere and, inject it. That's not how mindset develops. Over 30 years of working with this all over the world, including many, many times in India, here's how you develop a strong, sustainable, strengthening mindset. Number 1, you got to have a tool set that works. So in the area of excellence, for example, that we have a definition. Service is taking action to create value for someone else. And then we have that device, a tool, which is called the 6 levels of service, from criminal to basic to expected to desired to despising, unbelievable. But that tool also has the insight that says they're not fixed steps. They're always sliding down because customer expectations are always rising. Great. That's just an example of one of the 10 tools that we've developed to help organizations improve in their service excellence. So what is service excellence? Well, we call it uplifting service. And if service is taking action to create value for someone, uplifting service is taking the next action to create more value, not just for someone else, but for someone you care about. Whoa, that's a completely different paradigm. Now, just because you learned that 6 levels and those definitions doesn't mean you're yet skillful at actually applying the tool to various circumstances. So then the tool set needs to become a skill set. And for that, you need some coaching and support. And that's a lot of what our team provides. And then over time, when people develop a skill set, the mindset evolves because they're proud of being able to do it. They naturally see situations certain ways. They take that next action, they create more value, and they get back the appreciation. They get back the customer loyalty. They get back the promotion from their organization. So you don't go in and try to inculcate a mindset. You go in and you bring people proven tool set, support them while they develop a strong skill set, and sit back and watch and enjoy as that mindset grows.
Transforms. Yeah, lovely. Wonderful.
Adapt your style with certain people because they like it short and sweet, make it quick. Young people today are even going to be attracted to organizations that still believe that and operate that way going forward into the future. Vigor and energy and anger and the expression of like, wow. And I would say that in the Indian culture, Indian women have got access to that kind of power.
Champion a woman, she will build the nation.